Morning, YouTube. It's fairly early. The kids are still not awake today, so I was thinking maybe we could continue our discussion on the point that I'm trying to get across about tomahawks. I kind of rambled on in that last video, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of you were like, "The fuck is he blabbering on about?" So, for a tomahawk, there's going to be a 3-category system, okay? And I'm just going to start right here, okay? The 3-category system is speed. How fast can you deploy, operate, manipulate, defend, and attack with a tomahawk? Category 2, heft. And honestly, I'm still on the hunt for a better word because heft, it's just not there. Whenever I was thinking about the system, the reason why I thought the word heft is because whenever you're in a survival situation, from what I've seen, because I have not been, I'm going to get there. It's just going to take some time, some lessons, some practice. The ability to use this tool as a survival tool, and it seemed like from the videos I've seen of other people doing it, it seems like it's a little bit of work. So you have to pull your weight, heft. This damn band. I'm gonna have to glue it down again. So this right here is a cold steel trail hawk, and it's a little less than a pound or so. It's kind of unwieldy in the hand. I have never felt that these tomahawks made by Cold Steel are of any real use at all whatsoever. And I'll talk to you about why. Oh yeah, and the third volley, the third category is volley, the ability to throw. Okay, and essentially speaking, what we're going to do is we're going to work on a 3-point system. Okay, if a tomahawk has 3 points in each of those categories, it is the perfect tomahawk. From my point of view, if you will, God created this world to not ever be perfect. What's perfect, atypically speaking, doesn't work as well as what we'll just do. So, don't have to worry about advertising anymore. This has some survival qualities, but in my mind, this is in no way, shape, form, or fashion anything other than a combat axe. Okay? Also, in my mind, a tomahawk that has a spike on it isn't a tomahawk. That's a combat axe. A tomahawk that has no trailing mass isn't a tomahawk, it's just an axe. Okay? Right here today I have my pipe hawk. I have my frontier hawk, which isn't a hawk, and this isn't a hawk any more than the others, in my mind anyways, and my old trail hawk. I have done quite a few things to my trail hawk. The only thing that I have not managed to do is to get rid of the crappy black paint, and I'm sure that that would change my opinion about this, but essentially speaking, these are pieces of shit that I wasted my time and my money on, and that I keep going back to saying, they're cheap, they're cheap, they're cheap. I can afford them. Sooner or later, Cold Steel will get it through their head about what a tomahawk is. Okay? The The only real reason why this has a trailing mass is because this is supposed to be their survival hawk, and there's a few problems with that. Now, traditionally speaking, it does have a very, very thin head, not much striking surface. I don't like the fact that it doesn't have a beard. I want my hawks to have a beard, kind of like me. Part of the expediency of combat is I don't want to run out of energy. Moving this arm back and forth in a combat manner in the first place takes up a lot of energy if you do not know how to appropriately breathe, which Master Park covers in one of his videos. But this is speed and throwability. That's all. The first time I got this out of the box, I picked it up, I pulled out the retaining screw, I tapped it up as high as I could get it on the stick, and I threw it, and I hit the axe face every time. This is one of those things that just works well with throwing. You can throw it all day. You can throw it all day. It gets a little hefty, but okay, just to tell you what I'm talking about. I have seen video after video after video after video of people with their trail hawks out in the middle of the boonies doing the things that they gotta do out in the middle of the boonies to be able to survive. I have never once been able to do that. Every single time I have tried with a cold steel tomahawk, it falls on its face. And I don't know if it's just the paint. Okay? Your opinions may vary. You are welcome to your opinions. Don't get belligerent with me. Okay? I am just now beginning to develop this. Okay? So, to me, the perfect combat axe is very, very thin. Okay? This is very, very thin. Okay? It is thinner than the Frontier Hawk. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that very well. It is much thinner than the Pipe Hawk. And even then, Cold Steel prefers to make thin blades. Okay, to me that's not a tomahawk. That's a combat axe. I mean, just look at the way this is designed. Excuse me. This is designed for maximum penetration. It is designed to hit with the axe face and push up to the hilt. Okay? For lack of better expression. It's short, it's dinky, it's small, but as a defensive axe, it does its job. Okay? This is all speed and volley. This is a good example of 3 points in speed and 3 points in volley. And this is how this works, okay? If there was 1 point in each of those categories, it's one of those axes that wouldn't be good for one thing or another. It's one of those axes that just wouldn't do for anything really. If you had 2 points in each category, that's what I would call balanced. It's efficient at a combat type situation. It's efficient as a survival tool, and it's efficient as a thrower. But and that's what I believe is as close as we can get to perfection. 3 in each category. It is the ultimate perfect tomahawk, just the right weight, just the right length of beak, just the right bite or edge, just the right structuring, just the right hammer pull. And the reason why I come from the point of view that I do is because to me, a tomahawk is something that you should be able, if you have no other means, you should be able to sit down and process your game with. You know, you should be able to knock that head off, get real high on this edge, and really work what you're doing. You should be able to cut and then hammer in, wooden um, tent pegs, basically. Um, you should be able to fight with it. You should be able to survive with it. You should be able to throw it if you need to. I don't like the idea of throwing a tomahawk, but in a pinch it'll do. Um, this, it's very light. It's very agile in the hand. It does not wear down your arm very quickly. I follow the Micklemore system, and I've run many drills with this little tomahawk, and it's just whap 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 plug. It's a decent tomahawk, but it's not. It's a thrower and it's a defensive axe, and that's all that it is. And I wish I hadn't gotten all excitable and bought it. Frontier Hawk, all speed. This is lighter again than this, okay? And this has no trailing mass, and I've never been able to land the blade face when throwing, and I've done it hundreds of times. This is a defensive axe, purely defensive axe. 3 rock solid points in combat and combat alone. This is designed to operate and manipulate an individual before conducting offensive defensive tactics. This right here has a super thin blade. It is very lightweight. It's more lightweight than the Trailhawk. I already said that. It has a slight bulge in the middle, and what that is for is creating larger holes in people. I have had no success throwing this. I am not an expert in throwing. I am a person who does not believe in throwing either. Okay, here you have a perfectly good tool, and you decide to chuck it. You can say bye-bye to that tool now. So, this is an axe that has 3 points and speed and bupkis and everything else. I can draw this and operate it as quickly as you can potentially imagine. Okay? This is very quick and easy to operate. Okay, and as for what I just did there with that is actually a sword move. If you can do a sword move with a tomahawk, there might be issues. Now I know what you're thinking. The next hawk that I'm pulling up, the Cold Steel Pipe Hawk, is all heft, isn't it? No, it isn't. This is the bastard child of Cold Steel. Way too heavy back here. Way too heavy up here. With handle, I'm gonna have to go find the data points on this and annotate it, but I think this is almost 2 pounds with handle. Okay. This is really good for one job: splitting wood. Ripley's, believe it or not. The bulge in the center of the axe face is just wide enough that it can split wood like a son of a bitch, but it can't really do anything else. Okay, whenever we start talking about, seriously talking about tomahawks, the blade architecture, the geometry has to be dead on. Um, this is not a tomahawk in my book. This is, once again, I said, they put these out. Basically, this is the evolution. And I'm going to put this up so I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay, Cold Steel put this, the Rifleman's Hawk, and all that stuff out, and I said, wow, a manufacturer who's actually figured out how to make a modern day Tomahawk. Then a new series of Tomahawks came out, and I was like, yeah, they finally learned how to make a Tomahawk. I did not know then what I know now, and I've had zero success with this. This Tomahawk just goes into the wood and stays there whenever you're trying to split wood. It's very hard to choke up on and actually get successful cutting power. This has no heft. It has no volley as far as I'm concerned. I've seen people throw it, and I don't know how they do it. I've seen Nothing Fancy 100 times spraying WD-40 on his blades to get them to operate appropriately. If you have to spray WD-40 on them, as opposed to whenever you're cleaning them, just to slick them down with a light coat of oil and pat it off to make sure that it doesn't rust from the moisture that gathers, if it does not operate that way, that is a failed tool. Okay? I know nobody else will agree with me, but this is something that I've learned over the years. If you cannot just hang it on your person and go and do what you're doing, and whenever it comes time to operate this, be it combat, be it survival, be it just throwing it for the heck of it, and it does not operate, it is not a functional tomahawk. This is a defensive axe. I hang this somewhere near my front door, excuse me, so that if somebody tries to come in through my front door, I can kill them with this before they can hurt my children. I hang this somewhere near my back door, so if somebody breaks in, I can kill them with this before they kill my family. And that's how it works in my head. I will kill you with this before you get the opportunity to harm my family. And then I laid eyes on this. Oh my God, what beauty, what glory, what a proper tomahawk. And I get it in, and let me tell you a few things, okay? This bitch be crazy. This bitch be crazy. This is a tomahawk. Well, this isn't a tomahawk, but this is an axe that thinks it's a tomahawk. It can't be thrown. It's too heavy. It falls short almost every time, because you're supposed to apply force in the right area. And I've never been able to stick this. Most of the time, it lands like this. Okay, you hear thud, quink, and these are not cold steel handles. I replaced cold steel handles because somehow their process just does not finish the wood, and it's all splintery. And I don't know if that's just standard, but I have had no problem with these axe handles. I just got them off of Amazon. They're just plain old good fashioned, this egg shape or teardrop shape hickory wood axe handles, as smooth as a baby's butt. I know, I've had two of them. Let's just talk about the hammer pull, okay, for a second here. This is overkill. I put this under my bed because I come from the point of view of, if I have to hurt somebody before they try to hurt my family, it doesn't matter how this is going to land. I'm going to pick it up, chuck it, and cock my shotgun, because this is useless. Okay? It has it has 1 point in speed. It has, which means it's slow, it's sluggish, it's hard to operate because it's so fucking heavy. Heft. It can split wood. I will give you that. It can split wood. I've never seen it do anything else, and you never will see it do anything else. Because first of all, the blade geometry is way the fuck off. You know, I see dudes like Zuki One with all of his cold steel tomahawks just operating the ever loving shit out of it, and I'm like, bullshit. What are you doing? WD-40? Come on, show me. Or perhaps the guy's just stronger than I am. I have been disabled and in this home for, well, not specifically this home, but a bunch of homes that look to me almost exactly like it for roughly about around 16 years. I have been a homebody since then, and I'm trying to get back out in the wilderness. Um, Mind you, the only time I was out in the wilderness beforehand was, hey, I'm going to the woods, and I would walk up in there and just walk around. I wouldn't stay long enough that I needed to survive. And what I want to do now is I want to walk up out in those woods and stay the night, stay a weekend, stay the week. Get some me time in out there, and then come back here clear-headed. Now I know you're seeing everything that's on that bar. But here in about an hour, there won't be anything on that bar. I am cleaning the ever-loving heck out of the kitchen and the dining room today, and I might use a tomahawk to do it. I'm kidding. What I really wish is I wish there was a smith out there who got what I was saying, what I'm trying to be, and what I'm saying about tomahawks, and would help me design as perfect as we can attain a real tomahawk. Um, Honestly, I come from the point of view that friction fit is best. Whenever you swing it forward, you're not going to worry about the axe head flying off because it's not pressed in there with wedges. Um, Friction fit is best for any tomahawk situation. It's just I don't like plain tomahawks. It's just my nature. I want to stain this. I want to wrap it in something. I want to put a feather on it at some point. Right up here. I don't want it down here because I've tried that before and tried slipping it into my belt, and the feather just gets crushed. Back and forth. Crushed, 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 crushed. And I think the best place for a feather is going to be up here. The reason why is because I am of Cherokee descendancy. I am not a Cherokee. I am not a member of any Cherokee clan, nor would I claim to, or tribe, nor would I claim to. And I know that there are other white folk out there that say, I've got a little Cherokee in me. I've got a little Choctaw in me. We're close relatives. It's not the same thing. It's one thing to say, well, yeah, way back when, Grandpa married a Cherokee princess, and we've got some evidence for that. And it's another thing to say, I just want to be like Native Americans. Native Americans are like so awesome. I don't get that. But anyways, I love all of you, and I hope that you have a good day, and I hope that I clarified some things. We're gonna better define this, and I think that there should be an open discussion. And other than that, in the infamous words of Hickok 45, life is good.